what I'm showing you here is a financial statement. This is what we call a real world report card that gives you a blueprint of where you are right now, where you want to go to, how you're going to get there as well. So this blueprint is what we call a real world report card, and this is how the banks grade you, meaning, and I'll go over that more in just a second, but this also shows you what we call the rat race, how to get out of the rat race of life, okay? So by getting out of the rat race of life, the object of it is to make sure that your passive income exceeds your total monthly expenses. And I'm going to go over what passive income is in a second. But right now, under number one, what you want to list is your salary, how much you make. And like I said, you can include you and your wife here that's in the same household. You want to put your monthly salary right here. How much do you bring in from your job monthly? If you got any interest coming in from stocks, bonds, or whatever the case, 401ks that pay you monthly, put that amount here. If you got any dividends coming in, put that amount here. Any businesses that you got, car washing, lawn care service, selling CDs, selling, whatever. You put that income, monthly income from that business here. If you make child support, if you get a child support check in every month, put that income here. And then if you got any real estate that you own that's paying you monthly, put that income here as well. That's current right now. Now, what we're going to do is jump down to number four. Number one shows us what's coming in the door. Number four shows us what's going out the door, okay? What's eating us every month, okay? So if you got a home mortgage or rent, let's just say if it's $1,500 a month, you would type that in here, or if it's $700 a month, whatever it is, you'll put that in here. The school loan payments, I know a lot of people have those. Whatever that is, it's probably even deferred or whatever, but you may have to pay $200 a month, okay? And then because of the way I got the sheet, I got to put that there. Okay, so put that amount there. The car payment, if you got 2 cars that you're paying on, put that amount there, okay? So let's just say our car notes, this is not a scenario. So let's just say your car notes are $500 a month. Credit cards, if you got any monthly credit cards, usually those bills are like $100 or so. So let's just say you got $100 a month. And you got utilities, MLG&W, what's here in Memphis. Let's just say that's $300 a month, okay? Child care expenses, we know that can get pretty expensive. So let's just say child care expenses are $600 a month. I don't know if you got any kids or not, but I'm just filling it out so you can see it for later. Personal expenses, that's like cell phone, stuff, food every month. So if you go out to eat every day and you know you spend $10, $20 a day and 5 days a week on your job, that's $20 times 5. That's $100 times 4 weeks in a month. That's $400. And if you and your wife do that same type of budget, y'all eat out every day and y'all spend $20, that means you got $800 a month in food bills. But if you just only go to groceries and got grocery bills, let's just say you had $600 a month for grocery bills. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to change this income for the sake so that you're not in a negative. But really, no, I'm going to leave it because a lot of people live this lifestyle. They got an income of this and then they got an outgoing of this, okay? Yeah. All right, so this right here should be in the green, okay? So what we want to do is add up our total income. So most of the time, the people that I've helped, they start with just this, okay? And so their total income is $3,000 a month, okay? Let me see if I can hit the back button. All right, $3,000 a month. All right, and then their monthly expenses. So what you want to do is add up everything in number 1 and put it in number 3, okay? And then what you want to do is add up everything in number 4 and put it in number 5, okay? So let's add this up. 1,500 plus 200 is 1,700 plus 500 is 2,200. 2,300 plus that 100 there, 2,600. And then you got these two 600s. That's 3,200. It's $3,800. So total expenses, it comes out to $3,800. So that means the monthly cash flow for this particular scenario is a negative $800 a month. Okay. All right. So negative $800 a month. All right. So now, So now what this does is it tells you, now this is what the banker's looking at. When they're looking at giving a person a loan for a house, for investment purposes, for business, what they want to know is if Matthew goes out and gets hit by a bus tomorrow, does he have other income that's coming in from other things that he does not have to go work for that's going to allow him to pay me my money back? This is what a financial report card is. And so if he does not, guess what? Denied. He ain't getting nothing, all right? But if Matthew, how do you look good on paper to banks? If Matthew has some real estate, some businesses, etc. He got other income that comes in that he does not have to go to work for. If your income depends on you going to go get it, you are failing according to the banks, okay, in the real world report card arena. So what we have to do, now I'm going to show you down here before I go to that. Down here under 7 and 8, these are assets minus liabilities. What these determine is how much is the value of the things that you possess minus what you owe on the things that you possess. So what they're saying is this minus this gives you your net worth. This is how you figure out how to get on Forbes, Forbes top 400, etc. And you can't see it on this screen right here. Let me pause this real quick. How do you figure out your net worth? So if your primary resident, if you own it, if you own your house, that's not the best thing, by the way, owning a house. But if you own your house and it's worth, let's just say $200,000 and you owe $150,000 on it, then that means that you have $50,000 in equity, okay? If you have some stocks and IRAs, etc., that's worth $20,000, you would add that on that sheet. If you own real estate properties, okay, if they valued at $60,000 and you owe $40,000 on them, then that means you got $20,000 in equity on that property, okay? So you would take these columns and subtract it from this columns. Total assets minus liabilities equals your net worth. So I'm going to show you on another sheet how you can quickly become a millionaire on paper just by owning, 20 properties or so in Memphis, Tennessee, which is really cool. A lot of people say, man, oh, you a millionaire? Damn, that ain't, I don't want to cuss on here because you may show this to other people, but it's nothing to be a millionaire. How much passive income? So the name of the game is this. How do you get out of the rat race of life? This is what I specialize in. The way you get out of the rat race of life is once your monthly expenses, once your passive income, and I'm explaining to you what that is, exceeds your monthly expenses, you are officially out of the rat race. And how do you get passive income? And let me see if I can bring up my camera. I like to show my face and see my facial expression. All right, so how do you get out of the rat race of life? So the rat race is simply this. The passive income is this. Anything that you buy that produces income to you without you being there. So for instance, I'm going to come off of real estate, but I'm going to come back to it. We own a mobile app company. The mobile apps, we create the mobile apps, etc. But every month, the business owners have to pay us $149 a month, regardless, if they want the service. That's passive income. That means that we built the app. Every month, we get paid for it $149 a month, whatever business gets that service from us. So that's passive income. A vending machine. Let's start on a smaller scale. A vending machine, a bubblegum machine costs like $20. And every day somebody goes in, their son or daughter puts a quarter in that machine. I have that machine in the store, and I'm making money without having to physically be at that location. That's passive income. So your bankers are wanting to know, what do you have coming in that's paying you without you being there? Because if you get hit by a bus, then I ain't gonna get my money back. So you don't look good to me. So let's go back to the sheet. So passive income is those things. Real estate. Why I love real estate is because I can get chunks of money. So like if I buy a house for $10,000 or $15,000 and I put $15,000 or $20,000 in that property, I'm in $35,000 on that house. And I make $700 a month on that house. I'm just using it as a cash purchase for right now. I make $700 a month on that house. And me, I specialize in Section 8, so I don't believe in the chasing rents things. Now, granted, I rent to some regular people, but I specialize in Section 8 because if a person loses their job, guess what? I'm the same way as the bank. I want to make sure I get paid. The government pays me on, like today, I got paid. So with real estate, if I own a house, $700 a month I'm making from Section 8 on the first of every month. If I own 10 houses like that, guess what? And I make $700 a month. That's $7,000 a month. Now we'll talk about the property taxes and insurance that goes along with it that gives you your net cash flow. We'll go to that in just a second. But that's considered passive income. So what we do is, once your passive income exceeds your monthly expenses, you don't have to go to work no more. That means you can literally wake up. So what am I saying? All you need is, in this scenario, is $3,801 to have to make a decision if you want to go to work tomorrow. Now, would it be a great decision to quit your job if you just $1 over your expenses? Probably not. But you still have a decision. You wake up a little bit more excited knowing that you're on pace. So this is your blueprint to find out where you are. And then how much passive, because this tells you how much passive income you need, anything that exceeds this. So let's go to the next sheet. And what I've put together is what I call a cash flow sheet. Now, there's another sheet that's a real financial statement, and I think it's right here. This is what the real financial statement looks like. This is the one that the bankers send you over when they say, okay, we want to, look at your financial report. They're not going to call it a financial report card. We want to look at your financial statement, and this is what it looks like. And, it's basically like this. It's the same thing, but just a little bit more detailed looking, okay? But for the sake of time, so what I did was I put together this sheet here, and this sheet, and I can send it to you so you guys can play with it. It's really cool, but this is what helped me put a game plans in place years ago to get out of the rat race and know what I needed to have in order to get out of the rat race. So let's just start with, I'm going to do a new one for the sake of this video. So let's just start and say we're buying, I always take 1, 2, 3, 4 Money Lane. 1, 2, 3, 4 Money Lane. All right, Money Lane. All right, so this is a property address. We buy Money Lane, and with Money Lane, let's just say the original cost. Usually we sell a house for a package price, all in. That's going to be the purchase price, the rehab cost, the property management, all that stuff is included in that price. But let's just say for the sake of numbers, we put in, let's just say the price of the property is $15,000. And we'll talk about how to get the money and all that stuff. $15,000. Let's just say the rehab cost is going to cost $20,000. All right. Let's just say the value of the property, okay, is $60,000. Okay. And right now, for the sake of this scenario, I'll come back and do another one. Let's just say we own this property free and clear. We had $50,000 just sitting. We took $35,000 of it, bought a house. We own this property free and clear. That means that I have an asset. Remember the sheet. I have an asset on my sheet. Let's see if I can get back to it real quick. That means that I'll add an asset on my sheet under number 7 that's worth $60,000 that I own free and clear. I got all that equity. Okay? Looks really good. That means, look at this. If I do this 19 more times, $60,000 times 20, I'm worth $1.2 million. Now, we'll talk about this. Now, if I take out a loan on this property, and let's just say if I refinance it and get my cash back out of it so that I can go use it to buy another asset right later, we'll talk about that in a minute, then look, my equity drops. It's not a bad thing, but it's showing you how to determine your equity. So if I pull out $35,000 on every house that I buy cash and that I rehab on that's worth $60,000, that means in order for me to be worth $500,000, I need 20 properties. In order for me to be worth $1 million, I need 40 properties. But net worth isn't as big as cash flow. Cash flow is the name of the game. So for the sake of numbers, we're going to take out the debt on this one, and we'll come back and add the debt later. If I did have a mortgage on a property, I would put the mortgage holder's name here. So you saw that I had Wells Fargo. And then for the sake of your organizational process of your portfolio. If you got to log in to pay your bills, you're going to put your site login website there, and then a login username, the user password, and then miscellaneous info like secret questions and all that stuff. Now, I put this in here, like how much could the property rent for? So what I do is I go to rentometer.com. I'm training you guys pretty much like y'all already in the game. But let's just say if I go to rentometer.com and I want to rent out 4707 Fairlane, Memphis, Tennessee. And as I say, I want to see if this house will rent out for $1,000 a month, right? So this house is a 4-bedroom. I'm analyzing it, and so I click on analyze my rental, and it tells me that the average rent in this area is $1,180. So that's a realistic amount of rent. So that's how I determine 80% of rentals are between that range, and 60% are between that range. So let's just say an average $1,100 a month. But for the sake of numbers, so let's say $1,100 a month is what the rent estimate would be. And let's just say I rent the house out for $900 a month. Okay. Remember, if I own this property free and clear, if I got some money, 401k that I want to use, I don't want it to just make 1% a decade, parking my money in a 401k. Now, there are going to be taxes and insurance that go with the property. On average, that's going to usually cost $60 a month for taxes on the property. You usually pay them at the end of the year, but you want to allocate for it in your cash flow, because if you make $900 a month, you want to know what you're really supposed to make. The other part is supposed to be socked away so that you can pay your taxes and insurance yearly. So the average cost for that is going to be about $93 to $100 or so. So I put 93 in here for the sake of this example. And then if you don't want to, deal with the property managers, etc., like we do offer turnkey solutions, etc., but the property management companies usually charge 10% of the gross rent. So in this case, that's $90. Okay. In Memphis, we don't have to pay the MLG&W bill for tenants. We don't do that here unless it's like a multi-unit or something like that. So all of these numbers here are deducted from the total amount of your gross cash flow, the $900. That's going to tell me how much I take home from this rental. This is guaranteed rent? Some people say, man, what about, the landlord and all that stuff? Look, dude, it's Section 8. I pay on the first every month. So $717 is what I make off this property. So what does that mean to me? Once I determine this number, now you'll go through and delete all these numbers here when you're doing your example so that you can see a little bit better. This gives you the cumulative total, this little formula here. Once you get to this many properties, 14 to 15, and you want to change that column to go down further, you don't know how to, just reach out to me and I'll help you do that. But that gives you the cumulative total. So let's go. I'm going to back this out. And notice when I back it out, it's going to negative 93 because that's, the expense that comes with the property. Leave that formula in there. You don't want to necessarily add that in on your cumulative total. So I'll show you how to just add up the columns that you're working with in just a second here. All right. We're at the $900 one. Okay. And so for the sake of this example, I'm going to go ahead and back these out. You can go back and put in, because I might just use this one to send to you guys. All right, so this gives you, look at this, the cumulative total of what you need to be at. So what am I saying here? So let's go ahead and put back the 93 in here. 93. Oh, no. I want that formula. Okay. So 93. So let's just say if I got this many other prices, so $717. Remember, we want to go back to our blueprint. Our blueprint showed us that we need to be over $3,800. So this is going to show me, I love this, y'all. This is going to show me where I need to be at. And let's just go back to realistic numbers now. So $700 a month is what the average rent is going to be in the areas that we're buying for those price ranges. Okay, $700. So that leaves me $537 per property. So $700. So how many properties do I need to get to for this number to go above the $3,800? Now keep in mind it's calculating those 93, so that number isn't jumping. So we're keeping an eye on this number right here. This is gonna tell me how many properties I need to get out of the rat race. This is what I did, y'all, to get financially free per se. And so now I work my butt off. If let's just say if you work in a job, you work overtime, to get the money, accumulate the money. Now, granted, if you got decent credit, then it shortens the path to your savings, because now you don't just have to depend on your money. You can use other people's money, what you call the banks. So right now I'm at $3,600, and then if I add one more, that puts me out of the rat race by $400 according to that scenario. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. That's 9 properties. So I can either have, look at this. So let me say this. I love saying this. So what I've learned, guys, over the years is if I want more income, I buy my income. You don't go work for more money. You will always have to slave if you want to, work for more money. When you want more income, you buy it. You work at what you love to do. And so that means that if I want to make $4,200 a month, I can take $350,000 and buy $4,200 a month. Okay? And so, for instance, if I want a new car, and that car, the luxury car, we rented an Escalade, sucker's nice. If I want a new car, the car is, let's just say, $1,200 a month. That means I need to go buy my income first that's going to support that $1,200 a month, because I don't want to be the one paying it. And then when I buy the income, in my case, the houses or the assets, that's going to generate $1,400 a month, right? Then I come back, I can take $6,000 and put it down on it, and my assets are now paying for my new toy. So I don't just go out here and ball out. I create the income that I want to support the toy that I want, or whatever it is, a vacation home or whatever, or a timeshare, whatever the case may be. So that's, yeah, I know I don't want to spend too long on this, but that's how you play ball. This is your blueprint to getting out of the rat race. Like I said, you guys don't have to tell me your business. I necessarily don't need to know it. But once you play with it and determine where you are, and then you say, okay, Brian, looks like we're going to need about, 10 houses. And then from there, what I do is I put you with our financial team. And if you have the criteria that the banks need from there, we can get you 100 grand, 200 grand or so, somewhere around there. And then from there, we use their money in terms of credit cards, lines of credit, etc., to buy the income that we want, and then we come back and refinance it. Now, the thing about refinancing it is it's going to put you in debt on this side, okay? Somebody else is going to be responsible for that debt, not you. They call that good debt. I don't know if that's such a word. Good debt is when somebody else pays it. Bad debt is when you get a credit card, you go out here and run it up on a shopping spree, etc. That means you got to pay that debt. So what happens is when you get a line of credit, etc., and you use their debt, you buy the property, fix up the property, and then once the property is fixed up, you come back and refinance it and pay it off. That means that the bank, once you refinance it, the bank is going to give you a lump sum of cash for you having a free and clear deed on a house, right? They're going to give you a lump sum of cash. Let's just say $35,000, and you're going to take that lump sum of cash and pay off those lines of credit so that you free them up again, and then you're going to come back and repeat. So what that's also going to do is it's going to reduce the amount of cash flow that you have, though, because you're going to have a principal and interest payment on it. So let's just do the numbers here. Let's just say if the payment is $300 and you still got to pay your tax and insurance, so that leaves $493. So that leaves you with $237, right? So that means that you're going to have to do more buying to accumulate the money. So that's usually about that's about 30 properties to have $6,000 a month, a little over $6,000 a month in positive cash flow. But when you get to your goal, you can decide if you want to keep going, etc. But I usually say, out of once you decide where you want to be, what you want from this. If you want to quit your job and keep going, once you get to a certain amount, you can. But work the overtime and use your job. If you have a job, use your job as your financial partner. Use your job. Once you refinance these properties, use your job to buy your income. So once you, just say you make an extra $20,000 a year, $30,000 a year, take that money, pay off those houses. Once you, so when the name of the game is when you retire, you don't retire and reduce your income. I don't know where that myth came from, but you should be retiring to increase income, because now you've paid off the debt that's attached to your assets, and your income increases once you retire. And by the time my age, you guys are young, by the time you're my age, you can pretty much, live financially free. They say in your 20s, you're kind of figuring it out. In your 30s, you're laying the groundwork, etc. In your 40s, you should be retired. So you kind of get the cruise in your late 30s, and in your 40s, you should be walking away. You guys are starting at a young age. That can probably apply a lot sooner for you guys. So, guys, I'm going to close this video out and personally ask you some questions, because I'm going to probably use this in another scenario. So the next step is, if you're interested, give us a shout. Email me, brian@homesfor10k.com or info@homesfor10k.com. Let me know you're interested in getting started and building a portfolio, and we'll get you over to our financing department and help you get started and get you some properties. Okay? Talk to you guys soon. brian@homesfor10k.com or info@homesfor10k.com. HOMESFOR, the number 1, the number 0, the letter K.com.